Hello, everyone. I'm Chase Lee, and welcome to another episode of Top 5 Saturdays Live with me, Chase Lee, like I said, and my co-host,
Brian Sutfield.
That's fucking right. And hey, listen, if you're new to the show, welcome. And what we do on this show is we take a look at the movies coming out on Friday, and we will make a top 5 list according to an actress, actor, genre, what have you, honoring said movies coming out on the weekend and make a top 5 list according to it. Cool thing about the show is that we do it live, so we have no idea what the hell's going to come out of our mouths, and we do it live, or we don't know each other's list. See, it's getting too late, guys. That's the way it goes. Yeah, so welcome once again. Before we begin, Brian, how are we doing this week?
Well, I saw 2 good movies this weekend, so I'm pretty good about that. It took me an hour just to get home from a location that's 20 minutes away from my home, so yay, New Jersey.
That was the most boring intro you've ever done.
Well, you know what? Brian, I'm sorry, it's not my fault.
How was your week? Well, I got some groceries. I was in some traffic. I did some laundry. That was kind of cool. It was really exciting. I got to touch the soap. Well, damn, Brian, I don't want to ruin your great fucking weekend.
Well, I mean, other than the traffic stuff, I'm doing great. Like I said, I saw 2 really superb movies this weekend. I'm home for the weekend. This is going to be the last time I'm home before Thanksgiving. No homework this weekend, which is awesome. So enough for relaxation. And yeah, I'm doing pretty damn well. How are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty well as well. And, I'll go ahead and say it on this show because I want to alert people. Listen, as much as I like comic book movies, I'm excited to see Doctor Strange tomorrow morning. At the time of this recording, I need to tell you guys this right now. I don't care who you are or where you're from or how long it will take you to get to the theater, but you guys need to go see Hacksaw Ridge pronto. Give it some money, please. Go support it. Yes. That's all I'll say. All right, so yeah, Top 5 Stars Live. This is what we do. So, Brian, what are we doing this week?
We are honoring Doctor Strange this weekend. We can't honor Cumberbatch just yet. We'll honor him in the future. But we're honoring the female lead of the movie, Miss Rachel McAdams.
Yeah, I'm really excited to talk about her because she is one of the few people we've ever talked about to where she doesn't even have that big of a resume. She's only been acting for 15 years. Her very first role was in 2001. So we can't go anything beyond that. It is literally impossible. However, what I like about McAdams is that she's one of those kind of up-and-coming actresses, and she's starting to become more noticeable and bigger roles, such as like a Doctor Strange, and into the smaller stuff like a Spotlight or, About Time or, whatnot. Or, I mean, she does a lot of middle ground movies too, so Rachel McAdams is slowly growing up on the list in terms of just ones to look out for. And I will bet you money that she will have an Oscar on her shelf within the next, I'd say 10 to 15 years. Because wasn't she, Brian, she was nominated for Spotlight, right?
Correctamundo.
Yeah, so, I mean, she's on a roll. I mean, she's already got a nomination, so it's only a matter of time, right? So, yeah, Rachel McAdams, she's only been acting for 15 years, but I concur that she's in my opinion, the ones I have on my list, are very diverse and whatnot, and that just shows you the kind of talent that she has and whatnot, and so I'm excited to talk about it. So, Brian, what say you? Do you get excited for a Rachel McAdams movie, and are you getting sick and tired of her being in these rom-com movies?
To be quite honest, I don't care that she's in these rom-com movies because she's always a delight to watch on screen. I love her so much. I think she's one of the most talented actresses we have working today. I love her in almost anything that she's in. I think she's beautiful. I think she's very talented. I love her so much, and I'm really excited to honor her because she's one of my favorite actresses working today.
Yeah, like I said, she just kind of pops up, and she can either be in something really terrible, like another Nicholas Sparks-esque movie, or she can be in a surprise one, like a Spotlight. So without any further ado, let's get this list started. Guys, starting with number 5. Brian, I have to ask you every single week, what is your number 5 favorite Rachel McAdams film of all time so far? I mean, because her career is very, very young. So you guys keep in mind that both of our lists, with the grain of salt, it's not going to be, these classic movies. They're all going to be pretty much recent. So I'm letting you know that right now.
Yeah, no, I'll have to say that right now. My number five is a criminally overlooked film. It's not really a film that everyone really talks about, especially from the filmmaker that's from. My number five is Red Eye, which is directed by the late great Wes Craven.
Okay, that is not on my list, but I do
Whoa.
like me a good old thriller. So Brian, convince me and convince everyone listening.
Yeah, this is a very thrilling thriller. I'm serious. I mean, Rachel McAdams plays this hotel worker. She goes on a red-eye flight, obviously. Then Cillian Murphy comes out of nowhere and just starts taunting the shit out of her, and it's really creepy. And not just because, and I think Cillian Murphy was the perfect person to play the creeper because no, as great of an actor as he is, he's a creepy looking guy, and I don't want to be offensive, but that's why he always plays these villainous roles. Like that's why he was the perfect Scarecrow in the Dark Knight trilogy. That's why he's perfect in like 28 Days Later and in Inception, and he's gonna be in Dunkirk. He's great in pretty much everything he's in. That's the thing that's so good about him. But McAdams, this was one of her first films where she actually showed her true, genuine acting chops. Because before this, she had Mean Girls in The Notebook, and they're like, well, she was in a teen comedy and a romance movie by Nicholas Sparks. So we don't necessarily know if she has true acting chops. Yeah, she does when you watch this film. It's terrifying, it's engaging, it's enthralling. Wes Craven does a great job. I think this is one of his most underappreciated films. It's very well received by the critics, but not a lot of people talk about it. Obviously, everyone talks about Nightmare and Scream and some of his other films, but this one, I think is my personal favorite one that he's done outside of the franchises, outside of Nightmare and Scream. I love Red Eye. It's a damn good film. Great thriller. Haunting. Unpredictable. Love it. My number five.
Yeah, I haven't seen Red Eye in a long time, but yeah, no one ever talks about that one that much from Wes Craven. I mean, yeah, he's done iconic stuff, but it's also nice to look at some of his smaller stuff. So yeah, good pick. Just haven't seen it in a while to where I could justify putting it on my list. My number five, I'm going to go with the I'd say my second film I ever saw her in, and that would be Wedding Crashers. She is not the focal point of the film. However, it did show me that she was very good at doing some comedy. I don't know. I mean, it was a good collective cast all around. When you have Vince Vaughn, Owen Wilson, Isla Fisher, and her, I just think all four of them bounced off of each other very, very well. She played a nice little love interest for Owen Wilson's character. So, I mean, it's not like, a breakout role or anything for me personally, but I put it on my list because I still think it's a very funny movie, and I think she's pretty much got great chemistry with anyone she comes across with. But yeah, it was just nice to the collective group of a movie. I don't even know it's Wedding Crashers, guys. It's fucking Wedding Crashers. But if you want to watch something and kind of, I guess, get acquainted to her, this would probably be the route to go. So, yeah, nothing really special, but that is my number five pick. Brian, are you going to pass or are you going to talk about that?
This is a great film. I just didn't bother putting it on the list, but I love it so much. So much. And yeah, great film. Great choice.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really go into depth on Wedding Crashers, but yes, it's very it's thought-provoking. Wedding Crashers, yes. So, all right, that is my number five. So, moving on to number four, B-Suds, take it away.
My number four is Midnight in Paris.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot she was in that. Once again, Owen Wilson. There you go. So her and him just love to work together.
Yeah, she plays Owen Wilson's fiance in this movie. And I mean, if you guys don't know the basic premise of this movie, where have you been? Owen Wilson's a writer. He and his fiance, Rachel McAdams, go to Paris. He walks around one night and then he goes into this car that leads him to the 1920s. Fucking amazing premise. It's my personal favorite Woody Allen film to date. I think it's one of the better ones to start off as an introduction. Rachel McAdams is a complete biatch in this movie, and we'll bring up her bitchiness later on in this list, boys and girls. But she does really good in this movie for what she has to do, and you suspect some weird things about her because she's kind of leaning a little towards Michael Sheen's character, and I'm not going to spoil what happens or anything because not everyone has seen this movie, and if you haven't, you really should check it out. It's fantastic. One of the best of the decade so far. But I love her camaraderie. She's very funny in this movie. Not as funny as she was in Wedding Crashers or some of the other comedies that might be brought up on this list, but I really enjoyed her in this film. I thought she did a really good job. I just love seeing her in anything. And that's the cool thing about her. She picks like roles in different kinds of films, comedies, dramas, thrillers, horror movies, musicals, something like that. She's always versatile. And now she's in a superhero movie. So it's like so versatile. I love her for that. And she does great in Midnight Paris. It's just a great movie. And the reason why I'm not talking about it in depth that much is because you would want to talk about it more when we talk about Owen Wilson, which we did. We did an Owen Wilson episode last year, and I think it was both our number one. And if we ever do a Woody Allen episode, we'll talk more about this film for sure. Midnight Paris, I just highly recommend it. It's my number 4.
Yeah, Midnight in Paris is not on my list, but that was actually my first ever Woody Allen film I ever saw in theaters. Now, I've seen Woody Allen films in the past and stuff, but that was my first one I saw in the theater, and I worked at the theater at the time. Which was cool. I got them for free, and I sat down and watched it. It felt so magical. It felt like a fairy tale just ripped out of a book somewhere from Germany. And so, yeah, I really like Midnight in Paris quite a bit, but I actually forgot she was in that. Because she's not that memorable for me personally. It's it's all about Owen Wilson's journey, but yeah, Midnight in Paris is a good little pick. My number 4. I saw this at a press screening, and the person I saw it with, I fucking hate her, but because she's one of my exes. But the movie itself is very, very good. Okay, on the surface, I was very hesitant on going in because I was like, oh, I really don't want another movie like The Vow or The Notebook. I'm just so sick and tired. And The Time Traveler's Wife. I'm so sick and tired of her being typecast in these roles. I watched it, and I ended up kind of liking it more than I should have. I'm going to go with About Time. Now, this one stars Domhnall Gleeson and Bill Nye. And, Brian, is that how you pronounce his name? Bill?
Nighy. Just say Bill Nye, the non-science guy.
Bill Nye, the non-science guy. Anyways, he plays Sean's dad in Shaun of the Dead. So if that is where you want to get your reference from. Anyways, very cool film. Time traveling. Domhnall Gleeson discovers that the men in his family can time travel, and he ends up going back to what was it? Oh, I forgot the plot. I think it was something to do with his sick dad. But anyways, Rachel McAdams plays the love interest. I really love the chemistry between Rachel McAdams and Domhnall Gleeson. I thought it was very cutesy. It was very in the moment and stuff. I never felt like it was faked or forced. But the cool thing about this one versus like A Time Traveler's Life, Notebook, The Vow, all those other movies, McAdams is not the center point. You might think that from the trailers, but the center point is actually the father-son relationship between Bill Nye and Domhnall Gleeson, which I thought was really kind of interesting that you would take that spin on it. Because when you look at the trailer and you look at the poster, like, oh, it's just a time-traveling romance film, which this movie got a lot of flack for because, she was in The Time Traveler's Life, like, I don't know, like a year or two before that. So everyone was very hesitant, but I thought it was a really well done time travel romance film with a core center of a father-son relationship that I thought was really well done and very emotional. So with her being the side support to this relationship, I thought it worked out well in spades. So I would recommend About Time. If you want to pick a Rachel McAdams romance sat fest, this would probably be my pick to go for. Yeah. So, Brian, I know you either haven't seen this or if you have seen it, it's not on your list. So, what say you?
I'm going to pass.
Wow. Okay. So you actually like it more than me. Interesting. Because I've never heard you talk about this one. So, alrighty then. All right. Going on to number 3, guys. Brian, take it away. I'm assuming About Time is at your number 3 spot.
It is. You're absolutely correct. And for the record, Bill Nighy, I don't think played Sean's dad. He played Philip. Sorry, Philip. Bam.
Oh, yeah, his stepdad. Sorry. Yes.
Sorry, Philip.
You Cornetto fanboys. I am one as well. I apologize. It was his stepdad. Thank you for the correction.
You're welcome. Yeah, pretty much everything you said. I wasn't really expecting much from this at all either. Like, I saw the trailers and I'm like, okay. All right, fine. I don't know who this Domo... or what I'm trying to remember what I called him at first. I don't know what this Domhnall Gleeson guy is, and then I heard it was good, and I'm like, I'll check it out. I fucking loved it. And these are the kinds of romance films that I love. I love the ones that actually are very well written, very well directed, and very well acted, where it kind of feels real, but it also has layers to it. And this one has a lot of layers to it. It's like you said, it's not Rachel McAdams' character is not really the focus of the movie. It's more the father-son relationship, and I thought it was handled very well. I thought Rachel McAdams was so adorable in this movie that it's one of my favorite performances that she's ever given. And Domhnall Gleeson, I thought, was terrific here. I mean, this was the first one I ever saw with him, so this was before like Frank, The Revenant, The Force Awakens, like all that stuff. And I just really love the chemistry between them because I bought them as a couple, and the father and son relationship was also fantastic. The story was just so clever. I mean, time travel in the romance film, and it's done very well. Yeah. And it's from the guy who made Love Actually, which I should have realized. I should have been like, you know what? This actually should be good because Love Actually is fucking awesome. And I personally think it's awesome. My sister hates it, which is crazy. But, siblings, what can you do? But yeah, About Time, Chase pretty much said everything I needed to say. I just think it's a fantastic film. It's one of the best romance films of the decade so far. It's not like high up. I can't think of what the best straight up romance film of the decade is thus far. Maybe Before Midnight? I don't know. I have to think on the top of my head. It came out the same year as Before Midnight. Yeah, I would have to think about that. But About Time, fucking awesome film. Check it out if you haven't seen it.
You mentioned that you hadn't seen Domhnall Gleeson before anything. He was in Harry Potter.
Well, see, the thing is, at the time, I forgot he was in Harry Potter, and I'm like, oh, he was Bill Weasley, of course. Like, but that was like that was a little role. I hadn't seen him in a lead role or a big role.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's true. That was my first time ever seeing him in a big lead role because then 2 years later we saw him be the lead in Ex Machina.
Yeah. Ex Machina, The Revenant, Brooklyn, and then The Force Awakens, obviously.
Yeah, 2015 was a very good year for Mr. Gleeson. That's for damn
all
sure.
Good movies except for Brooklyn. Sorry, I didn't like Brooklyn. Sorry, don't kill me.
I never saw Brooklyn. So my number 3, I'm going to go with one of my favorite films last year. And God damn it, I'm going to go ahead and say this right now. All you fucking people that complain about cliches, who gives a shit? If they're done very well, they're done very well. I'm going with Southpaw. Listen, the one thing I actually hated about the movie was the marketing. Because that fucking first trailer scarred me for life because it basically just explained the whole damn thing. However, in the actual movie, Jakey G is probably one of my favorite actors working today. Top 3. But Rachel McAdams goes toe-to-toe with him, and I was kind of impressed. Now, they have, I think, 2 or 3 emotional scenes in having her go against Gyllenhaal. And I thought she did a very good job in terms of portraying her accent, portraying her character, the emotions of their relationship, and their convincibility of their marriage. And I thought that worked out very well. I felt like they've been married for a long time. They have this crazy, cool daughter that's great at acting. That little girl, she's going to go places. But yeah, Rachel McAdams in this, not in the movie for long, but I like the movie as a whole, and this is one of the better things I think she's been a part of, and I actually chose this over Spotlight. As much as I do like Spotlight, it's fine, but I prefer this one more because I thought it was kind of like a little bit more grittier role than what I'm used to seeing her, and I think that kind of impressed me that she went toe-to-toe with Gyllenhaal and stuff, and it was one of my favorite movies last year. Didn't make my top 10, but I still own it on Steelbook because I love it that much. Just because it didn't make my top 10 doesn't mean I didn't love it because I still own it. Yeah, Southpaw is a very good boxing movie. I don't care about the cliches as long as it's delivered very, very well. Hacksaw Ridge. People bitch and complain about cliches is ridiculous. Anyways, Rachel McAdams in that, it showed me the potential that she has for her future going forward. That and Spotlight both, but I chose Southpaw over Spotlight because I'm biased and love me some boxing shit. So, Brian, I know it's not on your list. I know you didn't put Southpaw on there, so explain to me why.
Southpaw is fucking awesome. It's an awesome film. I love it. I love it too. The only reason why I didn't put it on the list is because she's not in it a lot for me to put it on here.
True, but it is one of the better things she's been a part of.
Absolutely. It was so underrated. I mean, I think all of us YouTube reviewers liked it or loved it. We all liked it. The main critics, the professional critics, were mixed. The audiences also loved it because I remember I went to a screen for this, took my sister with me. Yeah, and this was actually a movie my sister was actually interested in seeing because she loves Jake Gyllenhaal and Rachel McAdams, and she loved this one, as did I. And then my parents saw it a few days later because, like I said, I went to an advanced screen for it. And my parents were like, wow. Like, I remember my dad texted me saying, Billy fucking Hope. What a great fucking character. And, yeah, Southpaw is fucking awesome. Just couldn't put it on the list.
Okay, well, you know, teach his own. Anyways, guys, moving on to top 2. Guys, this is really crucial. As I explained last week that there's going to be a battle of 2 movies that we put on there. Now, I don't know whether, I mean, Brian did pass on Spotlight. He didn't technically say it, but he kind of passed on it. So I'm assuming that's one of his. And I can only assume that he picked one of the 2 for his number 1. Oh, this is going to be interesting. Oh, fuck. Brian, I'm going to say Spotlight your number 2.
You are absolutely correct. Spotlight is my number 2.
Okay, I'm going to try to guess his number 1 when we get to it, but as far as right now, number 2, Brian, explain away.
I'm calling it right now. I think you and I have the same number 1. I think you and I have the same number 1.
Probably.
There's no way that my number 1 is your number 2. There's no way. There's no way. Okay, here we go. Look, I know a lot of people just thought Spotlight was fine. Me, I went to critics and I thought it was fantastic. Now, look, did I want this film to win Best Picture? No. Do I think it deserved it? Yes and no. And the reason why I say yes is because people need to understand that this was the most Oscar film of the films nominated last year. So it was going to win. Maybe it wasn't going to win at the Globes or the BAFTAs, but it was going to win at the Oscars because this is what the Oscars go for whenever they give their Best Picture films. They give it to stuff that's relevant. They give it to true stories for the most part. Yes, the film that almost won last year is based on true events. But the thing is, I don't think that would have been the Academy's choice for Best Picture. They gave that award to Best Director. They gave it to the actor and the cinematographer. And I'm talking about The Revenant. But Spotlight, to me, as someone who loves writing, I love writing for journals and blogs and all that stuff. I love it so much. And Chase knows I love Boston, so that's automatically a hook for me. And even though Rachel McAdams did not have a Boston accent in this movie, everyone else did awesome. Do I think she deserved a nomination? I think she deserved it because this is like a career nomination. I mean, sure, is it the best performance she's ever given? No. Is it the most Oscar-type performance she's ever given? Yes. But it's a well-done film. Tom McCarthy directed it, and I thought it had a great screenplay. I thought it was well-directed. I saw Tom McCarthy at the EW Fest, and I remember the clip that he showed was with it was McAdams' character and Michael Keaton sitting down with one of the guys talking. I don't remember. I only saw the movie one time, so I don't remember everything all too well. We did bring this up in my common media class because we were talking about journalism films. We brought up All the President's Men in this, and I'm like, those are both great films. This one, I was engaged. I loved the people, particularly Mark Ruffalo. I think Mark Ruffalo gave the best performance in the whole film. And I just thought McAdams did a really good job, and it's just an engaging film. For me, it was. It might have not been engaging to some people. Sure, it may have been overrated to some people, but I personally loved it. I put it in my top 10 of last year. I think it might have moved when I thought about my list after I uploaded my video, but it's still it was still one of my favorite films of last year. I personally loved Spotlight. I get it. It's not the best film. My favorite film last year was The Martian, and that was nominated for Best Picture. I wanted that to win. I would have been fine if The Revenant won Best Picture too, but I was still, I'm not mad that Spotlight won. I'm not mad about it personally. And I get it, people are mad. I'm just not mad. I just think it's a really well done film. I loved it personally. So it's my number 2.
Yeah, that good looking son of a bitch Terrence, when we had our Oscar coverage, the whole 3 hours, man, when everything was winning, either with Mad Max or The Revenant or other films, I was like, Terrence, there's no way it's gonna win Best Picture. And he's like, no, it's gonna win Best Picture. I was like, it hasn't gotten anything yet. Like it didn't win screenplay.
It did win screenplay. It
did
win. Yeah, original screenplay.
Okay, well, either way, like it didn't get editing, it didn't get director or actor, and I'm just like, well, what the fuck does it have going for it? Screenplay, and that's it. And then it ends up winning Best Picture. And I was like, well, it's not my personal pick, but whatever. But I do like the film. I think it's a very well-written movie. It's very sharp. It's very fast in its editing and its writing, which is a very good sign because you don't want to have a movie that's boring and like slow out of your goddamn mind. So you want to have it fast and quippy. And I think when you have something as intriguing as a sex scandal amongst the Catholic Church, that should intrigue anyone. So I think the subject matter is intriguing enough to keep you going, and it's a very good journalism movie. I do recommend it. It's just not my personal pick. My number 2, you got to go with the one that blew the socks off of people, the one that put her on the map. You got to go with The Notebook. Now, listen, I will say this. The Notebook is the only Nicholas Sparks movie I will actually watch. I own the movie. I saw it at a pawn store for $1. I picked it up. It's a very good old-timey romance, and Rachel McAdams is one of those actresses that could actually play a person in any decade. Like if you look at the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, hell, 80s, 90s, current day, she's one of those actresses that can play period pieces very well and can literally be plopped into any era, and that's what I appreciate about her, and that's what I really like about The Notebook. She fits in very well with that time frame. Ryan Gosling does too. I think their chemistry is off the charts. I think it's just a very well done romance, and that's why I went with it. And I'll explain why my number 1 is my number 1 when we get to it. Brian, if you say pass on it, I will know.
You mean pass on this one?
If you say pass on this one, I will know which one you picked.
This is not on the list.
Yeah, Brian's right. We have the same number 1. And I'll explain why in just a second.
Look, I'm a teenager. You don't even know how many times I had to hear about this fucking film. Everywhere I go, look, I don't hate the film. I think the film is really good. Surprisingly, these are the kind of romance films that I fucking hate. I hate these kinds of romance films so much. I hate them. I hate when people ask me and come up to me in school and high school. No one comes up to me in college because I don't think anyone knows that I've reviewed movies except for the people I talk to. And they're like, hey, why don't you review the new Nicholas Sparks movie? I'm like, because I don't want to waste my time watching something that I've already seen before 12 years ago and someone called The Notebook. Okay, I don't want to sit down and watch The fucking Choice, The Longest Ride, The Lucky One, The Nights in Rodin, Dear John. I don't want to sit through this shit. I'm sorry. And The Notebook is well done because of her and Gosling. That's really it. And then James Garner and whoever played the older Rachel McAdams. I think it is well done. I don't think it's fantastic. Sure, it is the best Nicholas Sparks movie we've ever gotten. I will agree with you on that. And yes, it is a well done romance film, but I just don't love it. I mean, I'm surprised I even like it. So, yeah, not mad at you for putting it on the list. Totally understandable.
Listen, I'm not a fan of like ultra super sappy, like Hollywood type of endings that, strategically pull your heartstrings and force you to cry or make an emote type of expression. But I gotta tell you, the ending of this film, it gets me every single time. I listen, I hate sappy shit. I love real endings, real life endings to relationships, whether it be good or bad. But fuck me sideways, this one gets me every single time. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the swelling of the music or the excellent pace in the editing and directing. Have no clue. I can just tell you that it works. So that's my number 2, guys. Moving on to our number 1 favorite Rachel McAdams film. And I'm going to lead up into it, and then I'll have Brian announce it. Listen. You could have either put The Notebook or this pick that we're about to say. They're her 2 most iconic roles that she's ever done. But here's what it boils down to. In The Notebook, I like it a lot. I remember Ryan Gosling's character, Noah. I do not remember Rachel McAdams' name or her character in that film. You know what I do remember, though? I remember Regina fucking George from which movie, Brian?
Ladies and gentlemen, the #1 film of Rachel McAdams here on Top 5 Saturdays Live is Mean Girls. And if you don't like it, I have one thing to say to you. Boo, you whore. Bam.
Boo, you whore. Okay, listen. I will go on record when I say this. In the year, for the decade of 2000 to 2010, it is in the top 3 teen comedies made during that period. It just is. And if you look at the 2000s as a whole, like from 2000 to 2016, it is still one of the best. I recently watched it on a plane coming back from my girlfriend's apartment, and that was one of the in-flight entertainment movies. I watched it. I still laugh at it. The lines in it still crack me up. She doesn't even go here. Yeah, it's from your mom's chest hair. Like fucking lines like that are so memorable. They're stupid, but they're memorable. And that's what's really great about it. The movie is well written, and it's actually really funny for a PG-13 comedy. That is hard to do. But when you have Tina Fey behind the camera and in front of the camera, delivering her lines that she wrote herself, because she did write the script, it just makes it for a fun time. And I never would have thought in a million years that one of my favorite comedies in my collection would be about a bunch of fucking high school girls tearing other girls down in the school. Never thought it would happen in a million years. But the reason why I chose this over The Notebook is for the sheer fact, because one, great little teen comedy that's still rewatchable to this day. It's got one of the most rewatchability factors I've ever seen in a comedy. It's because I remember her character. I remember how she acted. I remember all the lines that she had. I remember just her getting bitchier throughout the movie. I remember everything about Regina George. Regina George is the main pivotal point in the entire movie, and that's why you remember the movie, and that is played by Rachel fucking McAdams. And that's why my #1 pick is Mean Girls. If you guys have not seen it, trust me, as a dude, I am telling you, is not just a chick flick. There are a lot of guys that fucking like it. Hell, our guest and one of our fans, Kenny Baker, the guy fucking loves it, and you would have never thought in a million years, like looking at him, me, or Brian, that we would go, yeah, Mean Girls is pretty good, you know? So yeah, Mean Girls, I actually think it will become a comedy classic as the years keep progressing. But as of right now, very, very rewatchable, and that is very hard to say for any comedy. So, Brian, take it away.
I can't go to Taco Bell. I'm on an all-carb diet, stupid.
So many one-liners. So great.
I mean, to me, the best character in the movie is Damien. Like, you brought up, she doesn't even go here. Oh, my God, Danny DeVito, I love your work. Look, Mean Girls, like you said, it's kind of a classic now, and I'll be honest. Chase.
The fucking Danny DeVito line, I forgot about that. Danny DeVito, I love your work.
Yeah, Danny DeVito, I love your work. And I want my picture back, and I want my picture back.
Oh, man. Yeah, the she doesn't go here line still kills me to this day, because he pops out in the sea of women with his hoodie and glasses. He's like, she doesn't even go here.
And then he
like
turns away. He turns away.
He turns away and dips down. It's the best. So, anyways, yes, I can't keep talking about him. I'm gonna keep fucking laughing throughout the entire thing.
Okay, so look, I didn't expect to like this film. I fucking love it. It's one of the best comedies of the last of this entire century, in my opinion. Because the thing is, it's so well written and so well directed. Mark Waters directed this. This was immediately after Freaky Friday, and so that was 2 hits in a row. I fucking love Freaky Friday. I just have a huge love for that film, probably because of Jamie Lee Curtis. And this one, I mean, he directed it. It was written by Tina Fey. That script is so good. It's so cheesy. It has so many great one-liners. It's great, and it's relatable because, look, I just graduated high school 5 months ago. I know this shit. There is so much shit that goes on. And the thing is, everyone in my school loves Mean Girls. loves Mean Girls. Guys and girls. I would honestly say that more guys appreciate the film more than girls, because the thing is, you look at this movie and you're like, oh God, this looks like a chick flick. Yuck. Then you watch it and it's like, wow, that's so fucking good. It is so good. And Rachel McAdams is incredible as Regina George. And the weird thing is, this came out the same year as The Notebook. Let's just not forget. Let's just think about that for a second. Because in The Notebook, she plays an adult. This one, she plays a teen, which is absolutely insane. And believe me, when she plays this character, she looks like she's like 17 years old. And then in The Notebook, she looks adult. It's crazy. She looked like she pulled off someone that was my age, which is insane as hell. But the character, I mean, she is the complete bitch. She is a bitch in this movie. And believe me, there are times where you might sympathize with her. And I'm not going to say when. I'm not going to... Look, everyone has seen the movie, but I'm not going to spoil some things that happen. But it's so well done, and she's fantastic in the movie. She's awesome. I think she won the MTV Movie Award for Best Villain, and man, she played the villain very, very, very well. And yeah, Mean Girls is just a fantastic film. I mean, if I had to rank teen comedies of the last 10 years, this would definitely be high up. I can't really think of any other teen comedies that stand out, but this is one of them. If you guys have not seen Mean Girls, please check it out. It's not just a chick flick. It's honestly a great film. Mean Girls Day was just a month ago. Remember, every October 3rd, you gotta watch Mean Girls. It's like, what's the day in November? Is it today where everyone watches V for Vendetta, or was it yesterday or tomorrow?
5th of November.
Yes, that's today. Yeah. Like, everyone could watch V for Vendetta on the 5th of November. On the 3rd of October, you gotta watch Mean Girls. Like, you just have to do it. Mean Girls is the best thing I think Rachel McAdams has ever been in. Everybody, check it out, please. Thank you. Have a good day.
It's hard. It's going to be hard for her to actually top that iconic role. And I say iconic because that is what it is, folks. She is Regina George. She is all I see now. Yes, like a South Park, like Notebook, I can slip in to another world and imagine her as someone else. But in the back of my mind, come on. This is the same girl in the movie, in Mean Girls, one of my favorite moments. Because she eats these carb bars, and they like make her gain weight, right? So she's trying to dress for the dance, and the store is called 357. That's the only sizes they carry, and so she tries to slip into the dress, and she's like, "It won't zip up," and the lady's like, "Well, maybe you should try Sears." And like her face, just reacting to that was great. Like, I know it's a weird me for a guy saying that, but I'm telling you, it's a good ass comedy. Maybe you should try Sears. What a bitch. So, anyways, yeah, I don't think she's going to top Regina George, in my opinion. She's going to win an Oscar, and when she does, I'm going to be like, I can't believe Regina George is holding a statue while Lindsay Lohan is behind a dumpster at a Denny's.
Nah, she's clean
providing
now.
hand
She's
jobs.
Clean.
Sure,
she's
sure.
clean now.
I said providing hand jobs, Brian. That's what I said.
She's still. That's Amanda Bynes' job. That's not Lindsay Lohan's job. That's Amanda Bynes' job.
I just think it's funny that she comes from the same movie, and because when you watch Mean Girls, you realize that Amanda Seyfried is one of the chicks.
Yes.
Lacey Chabert or whatever is one of the chicks, and they've been in movies. You know, Amanda Seyfried and Lacey's been sprinkled throughout and whatever. But Lindsay Lohan, that was the last good thing she was in before she kind of went down the shitter. Yeah, but it's kind of weird to look at that because it's like Lindsay Lohan is in a burger place somewhere, and then Rachel McAdams has an Oscar nomination. What the fuck? What kind of world are we living in? So yeah, that will do it for our list, guys. Pretty basic list this week. Is nothing. Like I said, she's only been acting for 15 years. Kind of hard to pick and choose and stuff. And to be honest with you, for the honorable mentions that we're getting to right now, I mean, to be frank with you, I haven't seen her Terrence Malick movie. Haven't seen the Cameron Crowe one. Haven't seen the Philip Seymour Hoffman one. Haven't seen The Vow. Haven't seen Morning Glory. The Time Traveler's Life. State of Play. Family Stone. I guess, sure, Spotlight. I guess. And then, you know what? I'm going to break code. Brian's going to get a little angry. He might get a little frustrated. But I'm breaking code. And I'll say that not my favorite season of television, but I thought she was very good in True Detective season 2. So I will give that a nod, even though it's not movie related. as much as that whole season had problems, I think she was definitely one of the better parts. So, Brian, what say you? What are the ones that just barely skipped your list?
Well, I'll just echo the True Detective thing. The season was horrible, but she was fantastic on it. She was great. I loved her. I loved her in it. The raspy voice that she had, the hair, the constant smoking. I mean, Colin Farrell's a lucky guy because, spoiler, they fuck in the show, and it's hot. Because Colin Farrell is also really hot. Oh yeah, my honorable mentions. Wedding Crashers definitely. Morning Glory's pretty fucking good. It's her and then Harrison Ford, and it's honestly really clever. JJ produced it. I think he almost directed it at one point, which would be very interesting because JJ directed a movie like this. Versatile, but quite fascinating. First Sherlock Holmes. I know she was in the second one, but the second one's okay. The Notebook, definitely. Southpaw, awesome. I do like The Family Stone. I think it's a pretty enjoyable Christmas comedy. And I'll give a shout out to Stay at Play. It's actually very underrated. Russell Crowe, Ben Affleck, good film, very good film. And I have not seen the Philip Seymour Hoffman film. I really want to, but haven't gotten around to watching it yet.
Yeah, I just think with her career blossoming and she's got Oscar nomination out, she's going to win one, folks, and she's only going to get better from here. So. Yeah, we're witnessing possibly one of the greats that we're gonna let live on in this industry, even though she's fairly still kind of new at it. So, dishonorable mentions. This is an easy one for me. Listen, folks, when you watch this movie, you will be stunned that 2 years later she came out with The Notebook and Mean Girls. But if you look at her filmography, she had 4 TV movies before, or 3 TV movies before this, a movie, another movie, and then her first big one she ever did was probably the worst one she's ever been a part of. And I was very worried when I saw that movie. I was like, oh no, is this what this chick is going to do? Like for the rest of her career, just be in movies like this? You got to go with the hot chick. You just have to. Listen, like if you haven't seen it, Rob Schneider becomes a woman. Yeah. And Rachel McAdams and Anna Faris are the 2 main ladies that try to guide Rob Schneider throughout his journey, I guess, with the bulge in his pants. It's a pretty disgusting movie. But, yeah, when you watch that movie, you kind of get worried for her. You're like, oh, no, is this what she's going to be doing? And it's really ironic because, like I said, 2 years later, she does Mean Girls and does another high school role, but makes it an iconic role in the Notebook as well that kind of launched her career. So Hot Chick was a fluke. Thank God, because then if she did another crappy movie after that, she probably would have never had the career that she has today. Just be honest with you. The Notebook and Mean Girls launched her. They launched her. So when you start out with the hot chick, you're like, oh no, like I feel so sorry for you. So yeah, it's got to be I almost said the Notebook. It's got to be the hot chick. Sorry, no, thank you, Rob Schneider with bulging pants. Brian, what say you?
I don't even know what the hell that movie was. I never even heard of it until now, and now I just died inside. So
yeah, I want you to look it up and like watch the trailer. It's
no.
Okay,
no, never. Okay, so for me, dishonorable mentions. To find this, my 3 dishonorable mentions before I get to my worst. They're all romance films in some way, shape, or form. The Vow, I did not like. I did not like The Time Traveler's Wife, and I hated Aloha. My worst is To the Wonder, which is the Terrence Malick film that she's done. Look, I know Terrence Malick is very versatile. I know that he is beloved by some people and hated by some people. This film fucking sucks. I don't really like Terrence Malick to begin with. The only film I like of his is The Thin Red Line. That's like the only thing I like from him. I don't like The Tree of Life. I love the way it looks, and I love the way this film looks too, but Rachel McAdams really didn't have much to do in this movie. I don't. Yes, do these films make sense? No. And I know they're not supposed to, but this one just didn't grasp me. I didn't like it. Did not like it.
Okay,
I'd rather watch the romance films again than this one because at least those films have some sense of, story to it.
Damn, I've had that in my Netflix queue for like 2 years now, and I probably won't watch it, but I mean, like, it's just been in there. Like, I'll watch it eventually, which I won't because I have like 200 things in my queue. So, yeah, that's an interesting pick. So, yeah, what say you guys? What are some of your favorite and least favorite Rachel McAdams movies so far? Do you think she broke through the mold with a couple good romance films, or do you think she got plagued by that genre because she was kind of like the romance person to go to and stuff? Do you like her in her smaller, serious stuff? Like, just let me know down below. What are some of your favorite and least favorite? Kenny Baker, I expect to hear Mean Girls from you as your number one pick. Hey, Kenny's our boy on this show, and he went crazy over Mean Girls. And I was just shocked that a fellow gentleman such as him liked Mean Girls as much as me and Brian did. I was shocked. So, yeah. So there's some more mentions. Brian, what are we doing next week?
Next week we're honoring another female. This one is in honor of a rival. We are honoring the lovely, the beautiful, the sexy, awesome Amy Adams.
Damn, this is gonna be fun, and I'm really upset that we're doing this episode. And at this point when we record it, I will have not seen Arrival or Nocturnal Animals. So fuck.
I know. I might. If we record it on Saturday, I might be able to see Arrival before we record. It depends.
I won't. I have a wedding on Saturday. I could wait. No, because I have a wedding Saturday. We won't be able to record, so I'm gonna have to either see it Saturday morning or Sunday morning, and so it's gonna be on that. So that's gonna kind of fucking blow. But I'll make it work, ladies and gentlemen. I'll make the episode work. So Amy Adams, we coming for you. We're coming for you, Enchanted. So, that will be next week. And so this week is Rachel McAdams. And, I guess that will do it for this week's episode, guys. Brian, where can the people find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at BrianSuds98 and on YouTube at Brian Sudfield.
Yeah, and if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at RealChaseley. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and let people know that this is the definitive top 5 show on the face of YouTube. That's pretty much it. All the links in the description is below. And if you want to listen to more music from the intro and outro music, that's done by my friend's band Fervent Roze. Check them out. Link in the bio. So that'll do it for this week's Top 5 Saturdays Live. I'm Chase Lee.
I'm Brian Sudfield.
That's fucking right. See you peeps out next week. Top 5 Saturdays Live. Peace out.